Victoria's best landscapes deserve to be celebrated. Entries are now open for the 2026 Victorian Landscape Industry Awards, recognising excellence in design, construction, maintenance, horticulture, apprenticeships and supplier service. Showcase your work, build your credibility and celebrate your team's achievements. Standard entries close Friday, September 4th. Enter online today through Landscaping Victoria and put your business in the spotlight.
Welcome to The Front Garden, brought to you by Shapescaper, the Australian-made modular steel garden edging and planter system, trusted by landscape professionals nationwide. Find your nearest stockist at shapescaper.com.au.
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Front Garden, proudly brought to you by Landscaping Victoria. And today in the studio, we have Pia from Joyscapes. We're going to be talking everything about designing sustainable gardens, the importance of providing high-level detail on plans to pass on to clients and the contractors, and of course the ups and downs of design software. Pia here from Joyscapes. How are you today?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Very well. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Love to chat about, I guess, the inspiration that got you into horticulture.
So I've never been much into plants or gardens because I grew up in Europe in buildings with no gardens. But when after high school, I started getting interested in farming.
Yeah.
And I did 1 year on farms in Italy and loved growing food, the whole growing aspect of the plants. And then when I came to Melbourne, I was like, oh, I don't want to live on the countryside. I want to live in the city. So I was getting into urban market farming, market gardening. And then I was like, oh, that's still a bit much because you need space. And I slowly started becoming interested in the ornamental plants. And that was such a beautiful journey because it's beautiful to get interested in plants as an adult because you like notice things that you've never done, and really started getting interested in just going on walks, looking at plants. And so I decided to do a career shift because at that time I was doing product photography. And then I did the horticulture certificate 3 at Melbourne Polytechnic.
Ah, beautiful. So from photography into this, awesome.
Yeah, which is actually quite useful, the product photography background, because you learn about the creative principles and you're running on your business. So that aspect has been really helpful.
Oh, so they touched on how to run a business, which then you incorporate into the design?
Yeah, so I didn't study to become a product photographer. I did it on my own, but having that experience of communicating with clients, setting in expectations, creating the contracts and like the equivalent of fee proposal, getting it right, I think that brought me so much confidence in my design business.
Definitely.
That part is not stressing me out, whereas I can see how for other classmates it can be a bit more daunting. I feel like I'm prepared on all the fee proposal aspect.
That's really good that you got it. You are on top of it early, aren't you? So when did you start Joyscapes?
Kind of with Mifkis actually. So a few months ago. Yeah.
Wow. And you've already got sort of your fee proposals and things and all that sort of.
From the get-go.
That's great.
I don't want to get things wrong. And I think it's really important to get it clearly on paper. And that way, as a new designer, I don't need to stress about miscommunications, the client not understanding what they're getting or what their role is in the design. I don't have to worry about that. It's in the fee proposal.
Yeah.
So that's been really helpful.
That's really good. I did notice on the website, it looks very established, as in it doesn't look like you started a few months or a year ago or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's a really great thing.
Yeah.
And that's what it would actually bring a lot of people to you. Your website states, obviously, Joyscapes bring every design to life. Tell us about the process.
Yeah, so I do, the dream is to do concept designs, but also do planting designs. And I think my sort of ethos is purpose and joy. Mm-hmm. So I do have a permaculture design certificate. And so and I'm master's degree in sustainability. So bringing that whole ethical aspect and respect for the ecology and flora and fauna and using native plants, but also having a focus on food for community and all of that, that is really important. And then on a more sort of aesthetic note, I'm about joy. So with Mifkis, it was the dopamine garden. So it was all about creating gardens that celebrates individuality, that brings what brings you joy. So there's a lot of sensory plants in my designs.
Beautiful.
And in the hardscape, a lot of colors, because I think there's a lot of gray and beige in designs. And some of them are awesome. I'm not criticizing them, but I don't think everyone's favorite color is gray or beige.
Yeah.
So I love bringing more of those colors into designs.
So how do you incorporate, like obviously you've said your sustainability, permaculture, that is a heavy thing part of your design. How do you incorporate with the hard structures? How do you make them work?
Yeah, so it's a lot about material choices, obviously, and figuring out where they come from and all of that, but also minimizing the hardscape, bringing the touches of color and joy, but also having strong structures that bring a lot of impact without having to, so you can still have green most of the garden.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's a big one. And also working what's already there, trying to recuperate materials that are on site, reusing materials, working around what there is. Because I think in a way, gardens, it's hard to say a garden sustainable, a new garden design, because the most sustainable thing is to leave it as it is.
Yeah, that's just spot on, aren't you?
So if you bring in new stuff, and it is, it is important to have designs that bring people joy and makes people use their outdoor space, but it's always going to be you're putting an impact on the planet.
Yeah,
by using new resources. So it's about finding the best way to have less impact, I think.
Do you think it's worthy, or there needs to be more education into the clients to say that we can use, for example, there might be a lot of soil on site that you can still use rather than ripping it out, bringing new product in, using what's on site and conditioning it?
But then also I noticed it is way easier to say than do, because I thought when I was studying out, I was like, oh, that's going to be really important for me and I'm never going to do this and that. And then once you start designing, like, oh, actually, it's a bit different because there's a lot of constraints with sites. And if you want to be perfectly sustainable, then you're not going to add much to a garden. So you have to kind of find a balance of what impact are you happy to bring. And then I think I've spent a lot of time on layout and usability and functionality, because I want to make sure that this design is going to last a long time. Yeah. Because if you haven't thought details through, like how are you going to get the mower in that area or things like that, if it's not going to be used, then there's a good chance they're going to do a new design in 10 years instead of in 50 years. Well, maybe not quite that,
I know what you mean.
The more functional it is, the longer it's going to last. So I think that's a way of being sustainable, like really thinking small decisions through.
And how do you incorporate that into the design? So when you think about this, or when you go to site, do you what's your process when you get to site to do your initial consult? Yeah,
so the initial site consult is more just the site measurements, photos, site analysis. Yeah. I don't really actually give the clients much information, because one of the reasons I don't do it, I know a lot of designers do give advice from the beginning, but I'm an overthinker. Yeah. I'm not going to tell you what to do, because I really need to look at a site before I can give you any advice. I need to look at the before you dig analysis. I need to look at all the reports, and I need to do soil test. Like, I can't give you advice without knowing all of that. I feel like that's unsustainable.
Exactly.
Because the chances of giving the wrong advice is much bigger then. And it's a bit of a challenge, because I work in a wholesale nursery, and I do get a lot of questions all the time. I'm always such an overthinker, and I'm like, oh, I can't tell you that, because I need to know all the conditions to tell you if that's the right plant, because otherwise it might die and it's for nothing. And like,
so you still currently do some work in the wholesale nursery? Yeah. How do you find that with incorporating that into design? Obviously, I'm assuming it helps with your plant knowledge and what works where.
It's been, for any students out there, I really recommend getting nursery or wholesale nursery experience. Yep. It has helped me in so many aspects in terms of plant knowledge, obviously, understanding clients, because you get so many different clients and there's so many things they're asking for that I didn't realize oh, you want no flowers. That didn't cross my mind, as some people want no flowers in the garden. Or you get really you get to see inside clients' heads. And third, there's also the whole networking thing. I always thought the landscaper part was a bit intimidating. It's a bit different than the designers. It's men and trades, and now
they're all pretty friendly.
They're so friendly, but now I know.
Yeah.
And I use every opportunity I get to be asking questions like, oh, why did you choose this plant? Or in the design, why did you, how big is this garden? Then I can see how many plants they use for a garden this size. Always asking questions. And
that's the best thing about it. And that's what important in my opinion. So with the questions, like if you are coming up with some hardscape elements that you're unsure about, do you call contractors and ask them, like say, do you think this could work, or what do you think about this?
I will from now on, but up to now, I didn't have the courage to do it. So I will just do a lot of research and ask other designers that I know. But I do add a lot of information, because it's a bit weird as a designer, especially as a new designer, to tell a landscaper, this is how you do it. I've never studied construction, but this is how you do it. So I do try to do a lot of research, but I always write in the notes up to landscapers' evaluation of site conditions and on site. Unless it's a big change, I'm giving you the liberty to figure it out. Yeah,
well, obviously doing the construction side of things, there are legally things that we need to do to make sure that it's done properly. And I think that's the best thing from a designer to contractor to say, obviously, this is what we want for the final product to be.
Yeah.
When you've presented the designs, have come through, it goes to quote to a contractor. How involved are you during the process?
I'm trying to leave it up to them.
Yep.
But I've gotten good feedback from landscapers saying the plans are really clear. There's no question. They have to go ahead. So
awesome.
That's a big relief. But yeah, I would love to be more involved just for my own sake, just to learn more as a designer. The more you know how the landscaper is reading your plans and interpreting things, then the better design you can become. And
do you find maybe with experience that will come, like for example, will the contractor say, look, I see what you've got this here, we need to dig a footing 600 mil deep, so the next time you can pop that in your notes, that type of thing?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I'm a big note taker.
Big note taker. Yeah, that's good. It's important to do that, and it's important to give as much info as possible on the plans, isn't it?
Yeah, because it is a collaboration between landscaper and designer, but it's not actually let's sit down and collaborate. It's I'm doing my part and then I'm sending it over to you, so it's not as easy to get all that feedback.
On the design side of things, what type of software are you using to do designs? I love asking this.
So I went down a lot of rabbit holes. I think doing MIFGs was really useful because I got to test it a lot and I used it as a practice ground. So I tried AutoCAD. Not a fan.
Not a fan?
It's not intuitive enough for me. And then I also tried, what is it called? LandFX. And that one's really good. I think it's a plugin you put on top of AutoCAD.
Okay.
And in the same way as Vectorworks, you can do your presentations in it. So I really loved that one. And then the third one I tried in terms of 2D plans was Vectorworks.
Yeah. And
that one's definitely my favorite. Similar in intuitive as LandFX, but just better, I thought. And also Vectorworks is like so many of these programs are free for students, which is great. But then you're like, oh, well, I'm not a student in a few months. What do I do then? And Vectorworks has 50% off for the 3 first years after. So I didn't want to engage myself in a software that once I finished my studies, I couldn't afford.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's a good way for them to do it, isn't it? To sort of ease you into it rather than going, here's the total amount, because I know that they can get quite expensive. So pretty much what we're hearing is, as a designer, you need to find your feet with these software. Find what works for you. Yeah. I mean, obviously we hear these particular software brands out there. It doesn't have to be that. It's just what works for you.
Yeah. And also I've heard so many people saying, oh, I started with this program and I've always wanted to do the other one, but it's a big job to transition. It's a big job to suddenly just give up your old habits. So I knew that I wanted to try a lot of them before I sort of got into it. Because even now, it'd be hard for me to sort of swap back to CAD because I've done Vectorworks for a while. And I was also thinking I wanted to do 3D one day. But Vectorworks does the 3D, so you can do the 3D.
Does it?
So,
yeah.
but I end up using SketchUp a lot for my Mifkas garden.
Yep.
And the free version is great. It's desktop and it's free, and you can do quite a lot.
I think so, yeah. SketchUp isn't that bad, is it?
No, it's actually really intuitive and easy to use. And I think for me, at the moment, I don't see myself give full 3D detailed renders, but I love using SketchUp to do the rough things, to understand perspectives. It's not something I'm going to deliver to the client, but something I can use to see, can you see the back of the garden from if you're sitting in this bench, and like to understand the viewports and all of that.
I have heard that obviously there's a bit of a chain. You do designs in a certain program, and then it might need to go to another program or send it off to get you 3D renders and things. Like, is that something you'd like to venture into? Yeah,
I'd like to eventually do the 3D renders, but just taking it one step at a time, and also trying to figure out like if it's worth it, because I'm good at design, I'm good at plants. I have that double aspect. Is it worth me spending all the time and charging the client many hours doing this, whereas I could like contract it out for someone who does it way faster and then eventually in the end be cheaper? Yeah, and you got to make that analysis, don't you? And go, what's going to work? So with Vectorworks, you say you're using, obviously I'm just having a think about if people are starting on a new software or if they want to try something else, how have you found, do you think the training videos are the key from the software companies to help people transition? Yeah, so I used a lot of the company provided videos for a lot of them, but I'm a huge fan of all the like Domestika, Udemy, I don't know how to say it, all those online classes. One of them was enough to teach me enough about CAD, and they're free or they're like $10 each for those classes. And you get a lot of knowledge. And I think that's a good base. So I've been doing that a lot for the different programs. And then I just use Google and sometimes ChatGPT, unfortunately. Well, it's a common tale, I think, these days. The reason why I was asking that is because obviously we hear Vectorworks a lot, and people are going to probably start thinking, you're getting sponsored by Vectorworks at the front garden, but obviously there's a reason why. Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to look at. Like, what is it? Is it the training? Is it just the way it operates? It's very intuitive, I think, and it's a very powerful software as well. I'm really getting into classes at the moment. Because I'm still figuring out which aesthetic style I want to go to for my designs, for the templates. And then, I can just use the class and it'll change the colors on all of this. So it's just that whole aspect is really useful. Wow, see, I've got no idea. I'm good at putting a shovel in the ground, but when it comes to that's where I'll leave that to you. So Mifkas, we spoke about the dopamine garden before. Like, talk to us about the process of getting on site, planning it, getting on site, building it, bringing it to life. It's a huge process. I think so it was an achievable garden, a student garden, and for me, I would say it started a whole year before when I started helping on a garden. I was helping on Katie Fraser's bush bathing garden, which was beautiful. And I knew then that I wanted to, I think that's a great advice for everyone who wants to do a Mifkas garden, is to volunteer on one the year before. So that's when I started knowing exactly what I needed to do. So, and then from there on, I started on the design. And then there's an internal competition within your school to get into the competition. And so that takes a few months and times and meetings. And then you get in and you have a few months to get your plant sponsors and everything. We have less time. And also as an achievable garden, we have a plan list we give many months in advance that we can't change. That was a stressful part. So you're given a plant list that you have to include. We choose a plant list, but we send it to the NJV, Green Life now. And then it's locked in. So that was a bit of a stressful part because you want mature plants, and like ideally I would have gone for really cool indigenous native species, but they're small and they're not always easy to get in bigger sizes. So I feel like I went a bit more with traditional species and cultivars, but things that I knew I could get big, because I think one of the aims of my garden aesthetic was lush or maximalist planting, just really feeling surrounded by plants. So I needed big plants. Yeah. So that's the plans, and then there's the building, which is really hard because I studied horticulture and design. I didn't do construction, and that's a whole new world. I have so much respect for you guys. Did you reach out to someone to help? We're supposed to do it on our own. Yeah. So
You did it.
So
You did
you
it.
get help. You're allowed to have your helpers, but you're not supposed to get professional help. So I had all my friends and helping out, but they're not all of them aren't really natural on the tools people.
Yeah, but that's a part of the fun too, isn't it? So like is getting all your friends involved to help bring it to life. But were you happy with the result? Were you happy with how it came out?
I was so happy.
Yeah.
Well, in a way, I know I didn't finish a lot of stuff, which is what I got some judges' feedback on. I'm so happy with the results. And because the feedback from the audience, from the visitors, that was just amazing. And there were so many details I spent so much time on trying to achieve. And I was like, oh, no one will notice. And I was like, just keep moving. Don't spend time on those details. And they actually worked out really well.
And that's the one thing I've heard from a lot of the guests we've had is talking about those finer details because people do look, they're there for a reason, however many 100,000 people come through. So it's a wonderful thing. And has it inspired to maybe do more into a boutique garden or something?
Yes, absolutely. I definitely want to do a boutique garden down the road. Maybe not next year, maybe not next year, the year after, but maybe after. Need a bit of break, I think. A bit tired still.
Yeah.
It's tired.
Just enjoy the ride at the moment.
Yeah.
But what you're saying, obviously, if someone does want to get into it, is to make sure that maybe you volunteer, help out for a few years before, whatever.
100%.
To get into it.
Just to understand, it's a weird thing to build gardens in 9 days and then have them for 5 days and take them down. So you can't take advice. Even if you have a landscaper friend, you can't really ask them advice because there's so many things. Oh no, that doesn't work because there's this rule. We can't do this. You can't put things in the ground. So there's so many weird conditions that makes it. You need MIFGS specific experience. So I think that's a good one to do.
That's it, and I think that's one of the things that it's all about adapting to what you need, and we do that on site every day, don't we? Even when you design, you might have to adjust a few things.
We'll be back after a quick break.
Want clean lines, lasting strength and a professional finish in your outdoor space? Choose Shapescaper steel planters and steel garden edging. Manufactured right here in Australia using Australian BlueScope steel, Shapescaper products are built tough for DIY projects, professional landscaping and heavy-duty commercial installations. With pre-drill components, simple assembly, a wide range of sizes and a 10-year structural warranty, creating a standout landscape has never been easier. Explore Shapescaper steel planters and garden edging today and shape your outdoor space with confidence. Find out more by visiting shapescaper.com.au.
You're listening to The Front Garden with Adam Hompas.
Going to the business side of things, obviously, how are you finding operating a business these days? What type of challenges have you faced so far?
I find it really fun, especially because I am at the beginning. So it's fun. I love creating all those templates, figuring out how I want to represent my brand and all the software to mainstream the process and all of that. I find it really, really fun. And the only not fun part is the marketing.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone
and
loves
paying
that.
the bills to the tax department.
Yeah. The marketing part is not fun, but apart from that, I really enjoy the whole ride of mainstreaming and finding ways to be efficient and giving the best service to the clients and understanding them better. And that's fun.
We can hear the passion that you talk about, and that's awesome. But speaking about the marketing side of things that you said you're not really a big fan, funnily enough, on your website, it looks like you do have a comprehensive section on with the costs and things like that of your services. Does that help your clients?
Yeah, I think it helps them and me. Every client goes through a discovery call at first. It's a 50-minute call, and that's a great way for me to see if I can provide the services they need and for them to see if I'm the right person for them.
Yeah. Do you have a set of questions that you automatically ask to see if it's going to work?
Oh, usually they're so prepared. They bombard you with like all the information. I love that.
Really?
I think one of the reasons I really want my website to be as detailed as possible is I'm all about efficiency, clear communication, and I think it attracts those clients. I think a lot of, and often they don't have questions themselves. They just tell me what they want with the garden. And I'm like, oh, this is the process. Like we know, we've read it. So it's also helping me as a new designer to be confident with my prices because they've seen the starting prices on the website. They know what they're getting. They know what's included in a package. Like they know all of that. So
So you're being as transparent as possible on your website, it seems, to give people an idea and then have a chat so they know what they're expecting. They know what they might expect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think I want to be the designer I would hire.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah.
Because I want that information. I find it terrifying. Shops, when you go into a shop or a service and there's no price, I'm like, I'm not going to call. What if they're like a luxury designer and I don't realize and I have my tiny budgets? I think it can be really intimidating. I try starting price at least, or understanding the whole process. You study landscape. I studied landscape design for a year and a half, and at the end of the course, we still had so many questions like, do you invoice before or after this step, or do you sign the contract here, or at what point is your booking secured? And that took us a year and a half to understand and really grasp the best way to go about it. So how are we expecting the client to be like, hi, like what do I do from now on? Like what type, at what point do they prepare the Pinterest board, or do they have to, like, all of that?
It's all about trial and error, isn't it? Like, and figuring out what works. And I know what you mean.
There's so many ways of doing it, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. But I know what you mean about being a bit feeling intimidating to speak to other people, but eventually it unfolds. Exactly. It becomes very comfortable. Like we're all friendly. So well, most of us are. In terms of engaging clients, what do you think, what strategies would you ideally want to use to get new clients in? So whether it's build up the portfolio on Instagram or AdWords?
Definitely word of mouth and portfolio.
Yep.
Don't like the whole ads. And maybe I should say it. I made a reel yesterday. I think I spent 10 hours on it. It's just ridiculous how much these things take, because there was errors and the thing moved and I had to remove everything. And like, it's just like, it is a reason why people study marketing. It's because it's a whole field of its own. So I want to do marketing through my field, word of mouth, or projects like, and since I have photography background, I can take good pictures of a garden. So just can't wait for all those gardens to be built, take pictures, and then get clients through that.
So you take your own pictures, obviously, and edit them and put them up. Well, that's a big saver right there.
Yeah,
that's handy.
Yeah. Got to learn the videos, though. That sounds fun. Happy to do the videos.
Yeah, the videos. Well, that is a good avenue as well. So far, have you had any tricky clients at all that maybe it's been tough to navigate around?
No, I think that's one of the benefits of doing Mifkis. I got to showcase exactly my style, a really joyful, colorful style. And it's just attracting those people. It's attracting the loveliest, most beautiful people. So that's all I've had. I've only had one, it's not even a client, someone who didn't show up to calls, that didn't respond on time with the deadlines as I said they needed to be. So that one just didn't work out. Just didn't work with them.
And that happens, doesn't it? So then you sort of just let it go.
Yeah.
We were talking off air before about some of the work that you're doing, and I believe that you do a bit of work on the radio.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So you able to talk about that?
Yeah, so I started volunteering as a producer at the 3CR Gardening Show, which is an amazing live radio show on Sundays. And that turns into a podcast later with the most amazing guests. So I volunteered just to learn by osmosis. These people are amazing. They have such amazing knowledge. And eventually they asked me to come on as a guest. So there's 3 guests every time and 1 host. And now I'm a regular, which is really weird when you just finish your studies. But,
that's awesome. What a good opportunity.
Yeah. And everyone brings something different in those panels. And so even though I'm new, I try to remember that I have certain things to bring, but it's still a bit scary.
Do you find it inspires you to keep doing what you're doing these type of things?
100%. I also like that the landscape design is my main career, but I really want to stay in touch with the horticulture part of it and then continue learning. Like that's alpha omega for me. So being with those people who are really talented horticulturally, that's really important. Yeah, it's great.
As I said before, like the passion that you can hear the way you speak about the business and your love for the industry. Have you got any aspirations to grow Joyscapes at all? Or are you happy being you? Anything that you'd think about over the next 3 to 5 years?
I think I'd like to grow in the sense that I become bigger and I can have more ideal projects. And I love to do maintenance on my gardens. That'd be the dream. But I'm not interested in growing in size because I've listened to your podcast a lot and there's so many people who says that they grew and then at some point, they realized it wasn't it and then they grew back to small again. I think the reason I wanted to start my own business is because I wanted a lot of liberties. And the second you have responsibilities to bring in work for others, and the more people there is, the more miscommunication there is. So I think working on my own is something I like to do. But I would love to hire young students in their journey as well, like to share knowledge and be engaged in the community in other ways, like with the PCR gardening show. But yeah, otherwise I'm happy to keep working on my own.
And that's the good thing. You've got that freedom of exploration there. You can give something a shot if you want, which is awesome.
Yeah.
What are the gardens like back home?
So I grew up mostly in Norway, and it's interesting. I grew up mostly in apartments, and so I didn't visit a lot of home gardens. But I think in Norway, we love nature, but nature,
yeah.
like in the bush and how it is naturally. So a lot of gardens are really more kind of simple than here.
More your balcony garden type things.
Yeah, there's a lot of balcony gardens, or your really typical Norwegian garden is like decking. But because we love the sun, there's way less shade structures or pergolas. We just want to be in the sun.
Yeah.
So they're very different. I actually, because I haven't been there in a while, and I had to look on equivalent of domain.com to see the most expensive gardens. What do they look like? And they're pretty simple compared to here. I think in Australia, people live more outside.
And what about with dealing with in the snow? How would that be?
I think that's another reason. Absolutely. I think because there's probably less incentive to invest the amount of money Australians would do, because you're not going to spend that much time outside in your garden. Yeah, it's just cold. So you can't really sit out there. But like Norwegians love to sit, like in winter, even though it's freezing, you'll sit outside to have your lunch so you can get some vitamin D. So
bring it in.
Yeah,
anything we can at all. We touched on maybe the aspirations to get into something like a boutique garden. Do you feel doing things like that would really help a business to get more clients? I
don't know. I haven't spoken that much with people who has done boutique gardens, but I know like in general that there's very mixed results from participating in MIFGS. I think some people get a lot out of it and some people don't. In terms of clientele, like you get so much other things out of it, networking, a great time, you get to do a dream project, so on. But I'm not sure worth it money-wise to do the bigger categories, because the more money you invest, you really need to have a return. Like in the achievable gardens, I spent what seemed a lot of money for little student me, but just getting a few clients after that kind of really pays it back pretty quickly. Whereas for the bigger gardens, it seems a bit of more challenge like that.
Well, they can definitely put a lot of money into those things, whether the return comes back or not, It's the reason why I'm asking that is obviously we've spoken about marketing and how much you love marketing. Just would you consider doing those things for the extra clients or for the personal accolades?
Yeah, why do I want to do that? That's a great question.
It feels good and it keeps up the inspiration.
You know what, for me, it's the community thing. Yeah. I think my whole life when I was doing, I always volunteered in things, and there's this great community spirit around me, because the whole volunteering, doing the bump in and bump out and the community and all the events, the networking. Yeah. It's just like a big fun festival with people who love gardens and plants, and you just have fun together. That's what it feels like.
Have fun together, pull each other's hair out together.
But now you make
flashbacks.
Me
No, it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun doing those. With what's happening today, people are obviously maybe a bit more conscious of spending. How are you finding new clients coming on board?
I think I haven't had many issues, because a lot of my clients have been now wanting to build themselves, DIYers. So it hasn't had that many issues with talking budget yet. Yeah. There's just been a few with landscapers. So it'll probably come with time. But like how much the design will cost, that's fine. They see that from the website. But I think the budget of the landscape itself will be interesting to see how when I grow and do bigger gardens.
Well, that's probably the good thing about the website is you're giving a bit of a picture, which is fantastic. And when you do the construction, when it goes to construction, have you already got a few landscapers that you would recommend?
Mostly from my nursery work. It's such a great way to make contacts. Yeah. But I've seen, there's a lot of, that means that I know a lot of landscapers in my area. And I see how early in beds they buy the plants. I can see how they react if a plant is missing. Do they have the plant knowledge to substitute it correctly? It's even though I don't have a lot of experience with the landscapers, seeing their whole process of buying the plants and how they react to issues, I'm getting a good grasp on which one is going to be good landscapers or not. And through my other volunteering and MIFGs, I've also gotten a lot of designer friends. So I always have someone to ask, hey, I see you with these people. How was it? And so on. So I do get like the double backing up. I feel like I've seen them in work and I ask someone as well.
So once again, it comes back to communication, being open to have a chat. And the good thing is about the industry, people like to help, don't they?
Yeah. You want to help back. You want to get help in return. And it's usually good as well. Whenever I ask a designer, hey, well, how is this person? It's usually someone I've seen before and I know they're probably a good person.
As of recently, any projects that you really are loving to work on? Anything in particular that's really bringing out Joyscapes?
They're all
of them.
They're all pretty cool. Actually, so I had a competition during MIFGs where people could sign up to the newsletter and one of them would win a design. So that was my only marketing move, which was great because I got a lot of signups. But that person that won, it was random. I picked the random with the Excel function. Yeah. And that person has a blue house, like super vibrant house. And I went inside the house and they have so many colors and paintings and they're like, oh, you're my ideal client. And I picked you randomly out of 250 emails addresses.
What?
So yeah, I'm working on that one and at the moment it's really
That's fun. A great way to do it. For someone that hates marketing, you've really done well with all these things. That's so good.
Yeah, the email list has been good. I've only sent 2 newsletters, but every time it either gets a client or reinitiates someone who's like, oh, I forgot to get back to you. And then it's been good like that.
So one thing before we finish up, I guess I'd love to see is, what I'd love to ask is what's next, Pia? What's coming up next?
I think just continuing what I'm doing at the moment, just continue on working on getting the ideal clients. I think that's something I'm working on, trying to find offers through the newsletter to get the right clients so I can, because I knew that from my product photography work that it's not about getting most clients because they'll give you word of mouth to other people who might not have the style you want. So I think from the beginning, it's worth sacrificing a bit to get your ideal clients so that will lead to better work in your portfolio that will attract the right clients or they will have word of mouth to other people that are similar. So that's kind of what I'm focusing on now so that eventually they'll all be colorful, joyful people. Oh,
that's excellent. Sounds like you've got a good thought of it. So well done with all that. But look, Pia, it was lovely chatting you today.
Thank you,
it's
Adam.
good to hear about, how you've come through and what's happening next. You can hear the passion. So thanks for coming in the front garden.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. And that was a great chat with Pia from Joyscapes. If you do want to have a look at her work, please go to joyscapes.com.au where you can see everything that she's doing and the intricacies of the services she offers. And as always, if you did enjoy this episode, please feel free to share it on your socials. And we look forward to catching you next time on another exciting episode of The Front Garden.